We have spoken about this name before, as it pertains to the Vancouver Canucks. Because in today's video, I wanted to take a trip over to Toronto and dive into the latest conversation on defenseman Morgan Rielly. A guy who, by all accounts, is a BC guy. He was born out of West Vancouver, British Columbia, and the idea of Morgan Rielly getting traded to Vancouver has been up in the air for years. Now, we're talking about it once more, because of a tweet that ended up going viral posted by Hockey 24/7. Now, I don't want to do the entire establishing credibility thing for an anonymous Twitter account that happens to have 10,000 followers, an account that actually has some pretty notable people connected with them. Jacob Romata from Rec Scouting and Tony Ferrari from the Hockey News are indeed following this account. But the tale of the tape is pretty much this account was posting stuff since 2015. They ended up doing a lot of stuff last year in 2025 as well, up until August, where they made one final post and then they just peaced out. They didn't tweet again until yesterday, May 17th, 2026, when they said here that Morgan Rielly is close to being traded to the Canucks. Replies say, "Welcome back." Other replies go out there and propose hypothetical trade packages. And so, while I'm not necessarily sitting back and saying that Hockey 24/7 is 1,000,000% the most reliable platform to get trade rumors and ideas from, it does open the door to some pretty interesting discourse, and this tweet had 175,000 views. Let's go out there and talk about it, shall we? Now, here's the thing. Morgan Rielly has negative trade value at this point. Toronto Maple Leafs fans have been really disappointed with his play as of late. 32 years old, 6'1", 218, a left-handed guy signed on till the end of 2030, making $7.5 million a year. A $7.5 million AAV that started in 2022-2023. It's only been 4 years of the deal. He's signed on for 8. Rielly is a guy who, once upon a time, was a 70-point guy for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And as his career has gone on, he has seen ups and downs. He had a 68-point year in 21-22 and a 41-point year in 24-25. This season, though, he had declined in overall point production, 36 points in 78 games. And while you may look at it and say, hey, 11 goals and 36 points is not actually bad, the fact is, Morgan Rielly is a player whose reputation and actual skill on display is not reflected in the overall point production numbers that you'll see when you just pull up elite prospects. By all accounts, Maple Leafs fans are sick of this guy. He is not as good as he once was. He is not $7.5 million caliber. He is not reliable enough to be a top 4 defenseman anymore. Rielly has fallen off. And even though the point production is still technically there are a number of elements to his game that just don't hold up anymore. He's 32, he is signed on till he's 36, and this is all of a sudden going to be an issue when Toronto tries to transition into the next stage of either a rebuild or the final stage of the Austin Matthews era. Rielly is an undesired contract, which is why the idea of Rielly getting sent over to Vancouver is a pretty notable one. You have fans in the comments saying Rielly and the first overall pick for Elias Pettersson is fair. It better be for Filip Hronek and get that first overall pick over to Vancouver. That means he won't be a Canuck, considering this account has never gotten anything right, thank goodness. And it's funny because you have a number of people replying, saying that that first overall pick should be in play. As long as Morgan Rielly and his anchor contract is coming over to Van, that number 1 draft pick should be in. Take a look at what Sapster went out there and tweeted. He said, "I don't believe this Rielly to Vancouver thing, but from a hypothetical perspective, it would be very fun to imagine first overall plus Morgan Rielly to Vancouver for Filip Hronek. A cap dump plus first overall for a cost-controlled top-pair right-handed defenseman, it would definitely be one of the more innovative trades we have seen Vancouver make ever. Although Sap later clarifies, this is never going to happen. It's hypothetical. It's just fun to imagine. But could you imagine Morgan Rielly making $7.5 million a year as a cap dump bum defenseman who still gets some points once in a while? Could you imagine this guy coming over to Vancouver for Filip Hronek and also giving the Canucks the opportunity to grab the first overall pick? Filip Hronek is 4 years younger than Morgan Rielly is, and he's cheaper. His contract goes on longer, and he produces more. Filip Hronek is a legitimate one right-handed defenseman, and in Vancouver, he has had to be the one defenseman, period. He is the best D-man in Vancouver ever since the departure of Quinn Hughes, and even when Quinn Hughes was with the Canucks doing his thing, Hronek was still producing decent points. Granted, this 23-24 season, he had 48 points in 81 games. He was on pace for a lot more because he was on a really long point streak to open up that year. He just kind of fell off in the second half of scoring in that season. He just kind of fell off in the second half of that season when it came to his overall point production. But Filip Hronek nowadays is a top trade target. And if you want to talk about teams that could use a number one right-handed defenseman, San Jose is right in there. They've got the second overall pick. Toronto, you can say, they could use one too. They've got the first overall pick. I would also say that if Filip Hronek were to find himself in one of these trades, either for two or for one, the one trade makes a lot more sense if you include Morgan Rielly coming over to Van. Cap dumps are very rare these days, and we did just see in our conversation yesterday on the channel, Ryan Johnson speak out about the idea of the Vancouver Canucks being interested in weaponizing their cap space, using the available cap that they have to allow other teams to free up their own cap casualties, whilst giving Vancouver more valuable pieces to mediate that deal. Morgan Rielly could be seen as a win-win. He could produce. Sure, he might not actually be great, but if you trade away Filip Hronek, you have Morgan Rielly. All of a sudden, that's a nice veteran presence as a hometown guy in the locker room. And also, trading away Filip Hronek gives Zeev Buium the opportunity to be a number one defenseman on the power play. I see no negative with this. Add on the idea of Vancouver getting number one, drafting Gavin McKenna, and all of a sudden it doesn't matter what happens at number 3 if they reach for Caleb Malhotra or if they go for Chase Reed, a right-handed D-man, they can get McKenna. Or if San Jose goes Chase Reed, Vancouver goes McKenna 1, they could grab Stenberg at number 3 as well. Imagine walking out of the draft with McKenna and Stenberg, not to mention getting Morgan Rielly as a nice depth option to be in the locker room and just around the young guys, help bolster up the environment in the room. There are a number of positive elements to this idea. And for Toronto, the idea of trading away Morgan Rielly has been so blatant this season that I almost feel like it's crazy enough to work in a way. I'm not necessarily saying that Rielly is going to go for first overall, or with the first overall pick, to Vancouver, but if a Rielly trade to the Canucks were to happen, I would be very open to whichever possibilities could present themselves in this situation. So with all that said, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Rielly and the first overall pick for a guy like Filip Hronek or Elias Pettersson or what have you, do you think this is a realistic idea? Do you think this is a good idea? From the perspective of the Canucks or the Leafs, which do you think this makes more sense for? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Rolls 99. And bye.